to start this shit over. All right. I think it's finally started. I think this shit is finally started. I got a crooked ass mask. And I'm late as hell. I'm 4 minutes late. But you know what? That ain't finna stop me. We still finna talk about Rkelly and Donrussell. Let me just do a couple of technical checks real fast, and we can get this show on the road. We can get this motherfucking show on the road. Let me see something here. Let me see something. Wait a minute. Wait a motherfucking minute. We can get this started. I just need to check a couple of things before we get this started. Me and my crooked mask. Me and my crooked ass mask. 1 second, guys. Just need to double check some things. Just need to double check a few things to get some shit started. Yeah, okay. I think we good now. Let me just check one thing to make sure I don't have 2 live broadcasts going on. Nope. Let me see. All right, I guess I'm good. I guess I'm motherfucking good. So what's up, y'all? Let me get this mask situated. I might have to step away from the camera to get this shit straight. Because this feels a little uncomfortable. A little uncomfortable. One eye is bigger than the other. Look like a motherfucking cyclops. I don't know what's going on. I'll be right back, you guys. Let me just go to the bathroom to get this shit together. What's up? All right, so look, this live stream is dedicated to Donrussell's interview. Some of you may know, some of you may not know that Donrussell has recently done an interview, and just like everybody else in YouTube land, I'm here to give my motherfucking thoughts on the motherfucking interview, right? I know a lot of supporters didn't like the interview, and I know probably a lot of people that's against Rkelly probably love the fucking interview, right? Because to me, after watching the interview, I just thought the interview was not good for Rkelly, right? You know, so I'm here to give my critical thoughts on the interview, right? My personal opinion, right? First off, everything in this video is alleged. These are my own personal thoughts, my own personal opinions, and everything in this video is alleged, right? With that said, I thought that probably 90% of everything that's said in the interview was just bullshit. And you don't really have to be a genius to detect a lot of the bullshit that was in the interview, right? First off, to me, what's going on, Harlem? What is going on? Yeah, he lied about a lot of shit. My own personal opinion. He lied about a lot of shit. let me go ahead and share the StreamYard link just in case anybody wants to get on. I'll share that. Right. Let me go ahead and share that real fast. Get that shared. Um, yeah, so the interview to me was just a lot of bullshit. And I'm not finna stay on here a long time and basically try to dissect the entire interview. But the interview was bullshit because to me it just seemed like he was presenting himself as R. Kelly's manager, but not really his manager. So that part right there didn't make a lot of sense to me. Just from the get go, right? But hey, I guess a man didn't want to be known as R. Kelly's manager, so fine, right? And in that interview, he talked about how R. Kelly already had a manager, and R. Kelly was under contract with the manager, but the manager wasn't doing shit, right? So because of that situation, and because he wanted to have a motherfucking business deal with R. Kelly, he had to step in and clean up a lot of shit. There's some things that he said that I kind of believed, and that was that one of the things he said is that R. Kelly had a lot of people that were stealing from him, that were taking advantage of him, which I kind of believe because that was the narrative for a very long time, and it was what people were saying. That's hell. That's what R. Kelly was saying when R. Kelly himself came out and did an interview with what's that chick name? I forget her name. The black news lady that liked to fuck over black men. I forget her name, but um, he did an interview with her, and he basically said, people are stealing from me. Excuse me. So Donrussell basically confirmed that, right? So I think there was truth to that because that was already corroborated. Gail King, that's her fucking name. Gail motherfucking King. Yeah, so R. Kelly basically came out and he basically said that people were stealing from him and he didn't know how much money he had and he didn't know what was going on because people were taking advantage of him, right? So Donrussell, he comes out, he does the interview with Early and Tia and basically says the same thing. So to me, that was corroborated. That was corroborated testimony, in my own personal opinion, right? Now, again, a lot of stuff I like to operate based on facts, but we're really just talking about an interview where Donrussell did with Early and Tia, and there's no real facts to be had. It's all he said, she said, right? So the Don Lloyd don't really like to touch a lot of this shit, but this is what we're working with people, right? So we gotta basically work from there. So these are my own personal opinions. These are not necessarily facts, right? So we're just taking what I know to what I've heard in the past and trying to match it up with what Donrussell said and just trying to see if these two things match, right? So unfortunately we working with deductive reasoning, right? And basically common sense, right? So that's what the fuck we working with, So Donrussell said a lot of shit that just seemed crazy to me, right? So if you don't know about the interview, let me see if I can pull up the page of the interview so you can go ahead and just get it from the horse's mouth. And I think they may even continue with this interview at some point. I'm not sure when it's going to be presented again, but when part 2 is going to be presented. To me, it looks like it's kind of like a new YouTube channel. Very professional, very polished. But let's check it out real fast. I hope you guys can see this, right? Um, Early and Tia. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if I can pull this up. Yeah, so this is the channel. Early Tia, right? And this is the interview I'm talking about right here. Let me just bring it up. Of course, we're not going to play it because I don't want to get a strike, but we'll see if we can bring it up so you guys can know what we're talking about right here. So, there it is. This is where you can find the interview. Basically, just go to YouTube and look up Early and Tia, and you should, see their page, and then you just find on their page, you just search for When Shit's Hit the Fan, episode 1. Donrussell exposes R. Kelly's deepest secrets, right? And we're going to talk about what R. Kelly needs to do about this shit, because R. Kelly really needs to kind of, shut this shit down, or try to, right? He needs to try to. So the bad part about this is that R. Kelly is locked up behind motherfucking bars, which, some people may like. But if you're a fan, you know this is all bullshit. So because he's locked up behind bars, oh shit, 1 second. Because he's locked up behind bars, people taking shots at that motherfucker, right? They taking shots at him. And it's like, you can't really defend yourself when you're already knee deep in litigation. You're already knee deep in litigation. So it's almost impossible to defend yourself against a lot of this bullshit that's basically going on. So it's hard for R. Kelly to do anything, but he really does need to have a response for this bullshit. He really does. Because if he doesn't do anything, right, the same thing with Tasha K and revealing his prison records and his prison communication. If you don't do anything, people are going to keep fucking with you. It's just like anything else. It's like, that schoolyard bully going to keep taking your motherfucking lunch money if you just sit around and you don't do shit. And the fucked up thing about it, in this situation, there's very little that R. Kelly can do because he's locked up and he's buried in litigation. So it's like, how do you stop these motherfuckers when you already knee deep in legal bills and you probably afraid to start another motherfucking, legal battle, right? Because it's like, you're already spending money. You already, and I don't even know how he's paying Jennifer Bonjean, because one of the things that came up in the Donrussell's interview is that Donrussell basically said R. Kelly is broke. I believe that is probably going to be true, right? I think that's probably going to be true, because again, it's corroborated testimony that R. Kelly made with Gayle King. So that shit is probably true, right? And then you look at all the things that's happened, that's been put out there in the media. You've already heard that he's been sued by landlords, which is something I think Donrussell started to talk about. But the testimony he gave was slightly different. But to me, it just results in R. Kelly being broke. So he was already sued by a landlord, and the landlord has access to some of his royalties. He has some, restitution to pay. We know that because those are facts that we've seen in the judgments. I thought that the restitution that he had to pay really wasn't that much compared to him being a mega superstar, and with him being, with him being the mega superstar, and with all the things that happened, the restitution to me didn't really seem like a lot of money to pay, but nonetheless, he got to pay that shit, right? So that's something else. And plus, he's gone through, God knows how many lawyers. He's gone through Steve. What's that guy's name? He's going through Steve. I can't remember a lot of shit, man. I'm getting old, y'all. But he's going through a lot of lawyers. And each of those lawyers were billing him, right? So he probably had to come up with money to pay that, so he's probably broke. I'm willing to believe that he's probably broke based on all the stuff that's happened. If he's not broke, he soon will be, right? So now he has two different appeals two bogus ass judgments against him in two different jurisdictions in which he has to appeal. And by the way, the appellate brief for New York was supposed to be due today. I'm gonna have to admit I didn't really check. You know, I had other things going on, but I will try to get a copy of that appellate brief and go through it, try to dissect it, and then regurgitate it back to you guys. I heard that it's going to be fairly long, so I'm going to try to present it in a way where it's not going to be, you know, kind of long and wordy. Because if you're a fan of my page, you know I like to go through data, and you know I like to go through the nitty gritty details. But what I'm going to try to do this time is that I'm going to try to break it down into digestible bits and put it back out there. But I also know some people love for me to go through all this stuff. So I'll probably have two videos, one which will be a condensed version of me going through the appellate brief, and then another which is going to be a very detailed version of me going through all that. Y'all let me know what you want. You let me know what you want and what you want me to do, you know, comments on this video of what you want me to do in terms of the appellate brief, if I even have access to it, right? I know other people are getting access to it. So I think I should be able to get access to it. But anyway, getting back on the topic at hand, I just thought that a lot of the shit that he said was just bullshit. You know, so one of the things that caught me as odd is that he claims to have invested in Rkelly, and he was trying to get a return on his motherfucking investment. But the crazy shit about this is that I'm sitting to myself, I'm like, how long have you been a businessman? Right? How long have you been in motherfucking entertainment? You know, but you know, the basic rule of motherfucking business. What's going on, Sweet K? What's going on? Thanks for watching. Let me get some likes. Can I get a few? Can a motherfucker get a few likes? It looks like we have 11 current viewers. And let me see if I got any likes on this shit. I got 4 likes. So I'm missing some motherfucking likes. Sweet and Spicy, what's going on? Sweet and Spicy says, Dottie is reading the brief now, and I'm disgusted with the dude. Uh-oh. Sweet and Spicy must be a motherfucking Rkelly opposer. Are you an opposer? Sweet and Spicy? Let us know. Whether you're a supporter or opposer or accuser, you still got to give me a motherfucking like. I'm due some likes. Come on now, give me some likes. Give me some motherfucking likes. Or get the fuck out of here. One of the two. Like me or leave me, goddammit. Like me or leave me. We got 11 motherfuckers on here, and you got to do one of the two. You either like me or leave me. There we go. We got rid of one deadbeat. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, you discussed it with Donrussell. Is that what you saying, Sweet and Spicy? You discussed it with Donrussell, or you discussed it with Rkelly? Sweet K says, hit that like button immediately. There you go. Thanks for looking out. Yeah, so I want to check out this brief. I'm not as Johnny on the spot as I used to be with a lot of things, but I will be going through that brief. I'm going to try to get everything downloaded, and I'm going to try to have a look at it this weekend. T. Lynn, what's up? What's up? Thanks for watching. Definitely hit that like button. But you guys let me know how you want me to deliver the content, right? You know, do you want me to go through all that shit and give you all the nitty gritty details and just basically try to read to you? Or do you want me to break it down, right? Do you want me to give it to you in condensed version? You know, do you want both? You know, y'all let me know. But yeah, so there was just a lot of shit that I just didn't believe, you know. So this whole thing with Donrussell allegedly, everything in this video is alleged. But this thing with Donrussell allegedly investing in Rkelly, the shit just didn't make any sense, because who in the fuck invests or makes a business deal without a motherfucking contract? Who does that? And that was one of the things I thought were inconsistent in his interview. because he claimed to have invested in Rkelly. He said that Rkelly only had about $300 to his name. And he claims that, he was coming in and he was cleaning up a lot of shit. He put time and money into Rkelly, the money being $300,000, and then the time being sitting down. And he used a technical term which I'm not familiar with, but basically he said he sat down and he went through all of Rkelly's contracts to try to figure out why Rkelly wasn't being paid, right? So my question to you, if you're a grown-ass person, how in the fuck do you get into a business deal without a fucking contract? There's a couple of conditions where I can see shit like that going, because this is Chicago. Motherfuckers do things like that, but I ain't dropping no damn 300,000 without some type of agreement. Now, there are deals where there's deals where there is no contract, right? And I can understand that, right? Whereas typically, if there's some type of working situation, working relationship, you'll basically, do things and you expect another person to do some things, and it's not binding, right? You just kind of have a working agreement. You do A, B, C, and D. I'll do X, Y, and Z, and we can terminate our relationship at any time. But those type of arrangements or agreements typically don't involve somebody putting up a huge amount of money, right? I can see a situation where, and I'm just trying to put myself in Donrussell's alleged situation. I would have come to Rkelly and said, look, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you, and I'm just ad-libbing this shit, right? Because you got to have some shit in writing. You just don't give motherfuckers no damn 300,000 and don't expect anything in return without putting anything in writing. You just don't do that. And I can see a situation where I come to Rkelly and say, look, man, I'm going to go ahead and give you $300,000 to clean up your, some of your legal problems and put some money in your pocket. But in exchange for that, I need you to produce 2 albums and put it on my platform. That's it, right? And you get that shit to a lawyer, have them type it up to make sure that it's legally binding, and that's it. Even if you don't get that shit to a lawyer, you can have a verbal contract. Just record both of you guys and say, look, my name is Donrussell. This is Rkelly. This is not going to be a contract and legalese, meaning we're not really concerned with all those legal terms and things of that nature. What we're going to do, we're making this video so that we can have some record of the transaction. I, Donrussell, am giving Rkelly $300,000 so that he can clear up some of his legal problems and also, do whatever. Who fuck cares what you're going to do with the money? But I'm giving Rkelly $300,000 so that I, in exchange for this $300, I can receive 2 albums on my music platform. That's it. Uh-oh, police finna come and get my ass. Here they come, y'all. Oh, shit. I ain't tell y'all I shot somebody, and they coming to get me. That's it. You put that shit in a video, or you get some record of the verbal agreement, and you're done. But this motherfucker don't have shit. What kind of business is that? Like who the fuck does that? Who makes a business deal and you get no record of the transaction? Nothing. So to me, that just didn't make sense. To me, there's something suspect about that. Something very, 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 very suspect. To the point where I almost don't want to believe it. Right? He probably did give him $300,000, but to me, if you just give it a motherfucking $300,000 on a hope and a prayer, to me, that tells me you're not a good businessman. Right? Now, I want Donrussell coming after me trying to fuck with me and shit like that. But player, I'm just telling you what it is. You know what I mean? I'm just telling, like, if you don't know, I bet you learn your lesson this time. You learn your motherfucking lesson this time, right? So I'm just speaking the truth. So Don, if you want to come after me, man, dude, look, I'm just telling you the motherfucking truth, man. Nobody does that. Nobody drops that type of money on a hope and a prayer. Now, if you want to borrow $20 or $30, hey, I'm still probably gonna put that shit in the contract. You want to borrow $20, $30, motherfucker? Fuck it. Look, sign this motherfucking IOU. Sign that shit. Sign in a motherfucking IOU, and we good. And that's our legal agreement. But realistically, for a friend or somebody like that, you probably would say, "Here, man, just take $20 or $30." But I'm just saying, any significant amount of money, you want to at least get an IOU, even if Rkelly is not going to put the motherfucking albums on your platform. You want him to at least sign a fucking. How difficult is that? I am giving Rkelly, Robert Sylvester Kelly, $300,000, and Robert Sylvester Kelly owes me $300,000. How simple is that? Get a fucking piece of paper. You know what I mean? You can just motherfucking tear off a piece of paper from something, write that shit down, right? So that shit is not difficult. So it's hard to believe that he would fucking do some shit like that as a grown ass man. And he looks to be like a grown ass man who's been out in the world and he has experience. So that whole thing didn't sit right with me, right? There's something going on with that. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Can you guys let me get some comments in the motherfucking chat to see if you understand that shit. Are you gonna give the motherfucking non-lawyer, let's say, $5,000 on a hope and a prayer, or do you want some shit in writing? Let me know in the motherfucking comments. Do you want some shit in writing or not? So that whole thing didn't make any sense to me. Then there was something else that I thought was strange, right? The other thing that I thought was strange was that he brought his mom into this whole situation. Now, I'm just saying it's a little strange, but from what I understand, and he didn't really say this, but from what I understood, his mom, well, what he said was that he brought his mom into the situation because there was a lot of things he just didn't have patience for. And he brought his mom in to do a lot of the legal reading and some of the tedious stuff that he didn't want to do. So he brought his mom in to do a lot of stuff for Rkelly, right? So now the situation has gotten more complex because not only did you give the motherfucker $300,000, you're also providing services to Rkelly, and you still don't have anything in writing, right? And not only are you providing services, but you're bringing in staff, notably your mother, to come in and start providing services to Rkelly. So the shit just gets stranger and motherfucking stranger. Sweet and Spicy said, I would expect this behavior from a female. Would you say this is some bitch type shit, huh, Sweet and Spicy? Let me pin this up. You know what? To me, the shit just doesn't make a lot of the shit that he said didn't make sense. On one hand, to me, it appeared that, and I'm just going to be honest, to me, and he actually probably said some of this shit, right? To me, on one hand, it seems like he claims to have known Rkelly from way back in the day when Rkelly was singing in the subway, and he used to be a tap dancer in the subway, but their paths went two different directions. Rkelly went on to become a mega superstar, and he ended up working with somebody in Hollywood, or don't quote me. He ended up working with somebody on the West Coast and becoming familiar with doing business. But they must have not have taught his ass the basics of putting shit in writing, or maybe that's the way he learned to do business on a handshake. Maybe that shit works in certain situations, but shit, you're gonna have to give me more than a motherfucking handshake for me to sit around and give your ass $300,000. Ashley Davis, how you doing? Ashley Davis says he's trying to scam. You know what? That was the next thing I was going to say. Let me finish reading this comment. He was trying to scam. He said artists put up their music on platforms without contracts and make platform 20 millions. He was going to put Kel's music on his platform and not pay Kel's. But you know what? If Ashley Davis, if he actually gave R. Kelly 300,000, that was the payment. To be honest with you, and I can see sometimes that's how business works, right? That's how business works sometimes. When you business, American business is based on capitalism, and capitalism is based on buying some shit for $1 and selling it for $2. Sell it for $5 if you can. So him giving R. Kelly 300,000, I can see that. I can see, okay, I'm going to give you 300,000, and you put these 2 albums on my platform, and those 2 albums end up making him probably 20 million, like you said, on the back end, and that's fine. I can deal with that, but except for the fact that you don't have no fucking evidence of you actually giving Kel's money. To me, that makes it look like a fucking scam. Because now we're not left with motherfucking facts. We left with fucking he said, she said, right? I wonder what R. Kelly is going to say in response to receiving 300,000. I wonder. I mean, maybe he gave the shit to him. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I can't tell you one way or the other because I wasn't there. Ashley Davis says if he gave him 300K, right? If he gave him 300K. Right. But yeah, to me, it is one of the 2 things. Either he saw an incredible opportunity. He's like, yeah, I'm going to work with the world's greatest R&B singer. So fuck a contract. I'm going to just make this shit work. And in the process of him being overzealous and just excited and just, geek like, yeah, fuck it, I'm working with R. Kelly. Yeah, Kels, take this 300,000 and we finna clear all your shit up. He could have been in that mindset, but to me, he doesn't strike me as somebody naive and silly like that, right? You got to have some shit in writing. So the other option, the other scenario that I see in my mind is that he was trying to scam Kels. He was trying to scam him. He probably, in one scenario, allegedly, right? I don't know what happened, right? I'm just sitting here trying to make sense of this shit. So in one scenario, allegedly, he probably just tried to scam and take advantage of R. Kelly. Right? He thought he was going to come into Kel's life and basically take advantage of him like everybody else was taking advantage of him. So that's one scenario that I could see as a possibility. Now, again, I wasn't there, so I don't know if he was actually kind of scam Kel's. All I'm saying is a lot of shit simply did not make sense. A lot of stuff he was saying didn't make sense. And, the 300,000 didn't make sense. And him providing all these services to R. Kelly without any type of contract. There should have been contracts for 2 things. So for me, what it seemed like is that initially, right, what I got out of the interview is that initially he said, well, fuck, Kells is broke. He needs money. So I'm going to give him this 300,000 so that he'll have some money. And in exchange for that, he'll go ahead and put this stuff on my platform so I can get paid, right? So there's that. And then the other thing that he did that didn't make sense because you should have had a contract for the 300,000. But another thing that didn't make sense is that after the business deal, he found that R. Kelly had a lot of problems, and he was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to come in and help out just so that we can make sure I get my fucking albums on my platform. So now I'm going to come in, help out, provide all these services, but you don't have a contract for that either. So everything is based on he said, she said. Sweet and Spicy said the math is, the motherfucking math is not mathing. That shit is just not adding up. Yeah, so it's like you should have had 2 contracts because the first contract, I get it. You see that there's an opportunity to give him some money and get some albums, right? But now you see that this guy's in trouble. You may not get your albums. So now you need a second contract, right? Or you need a rider on the first contract to basically say, well, fuck, I'm going to help you with some of your legal problems. And in exchange for that, you're going to give me another album, or you're going to give me X amount of dollars. You're going to give me something, right? You don't just come in and just keep digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper in a hole, right? Because he claims to be this fantastic businessman, and he's making all these business mistakes, right? So, yeah, like Sweet and Spicy said, the shit is just not adding up. Or maybe he's just naive and gullible, and he's just not that good of a businessman. So I don't understand how you start doing all this shit for R. Kelly, and then you bring your mom in, of all people, right? You bring your mom in. Why not? I don't know if his mom is a professional paralegal. I don't know what because he didn't really say what his mom's credentials were. He just said he brought her in to start reading a lot of stuff for R. Kelly because he didn't have the patience for it, right? Why not bring a professional in? Maybe his mom was a professional. I don't fucking know. It just didn't make sense. GA Girl, what is it? GA Girl, Every Woman Wellness Channel. Hi, and host in chat. Okay, whatever. What's going on, GA Girl? Please hit the like button. So a lot of shit just didn't make any sense. No goddamn sense at all. Another thing that didn't make sense to me was a lot of shit that he was saying about R. Kelly and Aaliyah, because he claims to have only known Kels. Well, he claims to have known Kels from way back in the day when they used to perform in the L station, right? Then he claims that a lot of stuff that he heard between Aaliyah and R. Kelly, he claims not claims to have heard it, but he claims that a lot of stuff was true between R. Kelly and Aaliyah. And that don't really make any sense to me, because if you only known R. Kelly for 8 months, well, you only had business dealings with him for 8 months, and you wasn't around the time that R. Kelly actually met Aaliyah, how in the hell are you going to make all these accusations about R. Kelly allegedly being with Aaliyah and Aaliyah's mother at the same time? How would you fucking know that? You know what I mean? How in the fuck would you know that? So GA Girl, Every Woman says Donrussell needs to serve his time and shut up. Just needs to sit down where he is. I guess is what she's saying. How do you know that? I mean, you claim to have worked with R. Kelly for 8 months, right? But now you going back and you digging back into his past, and you saying a lot of shit that happened in his past was true. He basically made 2 claims, right? One claim he made was that Sony knew that R. Kelly had problems because when he went through the contracts basically had things built into them that probably wouldn't be in an average contract. He claims that the contract said that R. Kelly had to stay away from schools, a lot of silly shit like that, right? And he claims that, that was in the contract because Sony knew about his problems, right? So if you're claiming that that's in the contract, I mean, unfortunately, we can't see the actual contract, so we have no way of knowing if shit like that is true. So that's basically some he said, she said shit. But then he goes on to make the claim that R. Kelly, Aaliyah, and Aaliyah's mother were all together, right, in the same bed at the same time. At least that's what I heard, right? And it's like, how the fuck do you make a claim like that? I mean, you weren't even around him around the time he was actually working with Aaliyah to help get Aaliyah's career off the ground. So how in the fuck can you make claims like that? So to me, that part right there didn't make sense. And to me, at that point, that's when I really became suspicious. And I'm like, why are you saying all this crazy shit? Why? What do you have to gain? And The one thing I think of is that, maybe he's bitter about the whole situation. Maybe he did give R. Kelly money. I don't know. I'm not saying he did, but maybe he's bitter about something. Either he's bitter and upset about something and he's trying to get some type of fucking revenge, or another theory. Again, everything in this video is alleged. None of this shit is corroborated. Some of it is corroborated, but everything in this video is alleged. Another theory is that maybe he has some type of agreement with the government to make videos like this, to somehow receive something in return from the government. That's a far out there theory because I know the government has already got their verdict. They've already won their cases. So why would they come back now and try to, keep pouring dirt on a man's name? I don't know that it would really affect his appeal, right? Maybe they want to keep him oppressed in the public's eye. I know there was a tremendous amount of effort to destroy R. Kelly's image and reputation in the public, but now that the trial is over, and that's what he said. The trial is over, so fuck it, I'm gonna tell it all. That's what he claims he's doing, right? But to me, it doesn't make sense for him to come out now, right? Sweet and Spicy says, "Hey, what's going on, T.S. Blunt? What's up, man?" Sweet and Spicy says he's big, mad, and afraid. He's going he's going in on the first. I get it, but it's not the way, right? That's what Sweet and Spicy says. And let's see if we can get some of these other comments. But how and why? There were no allegations when he came out originally. This is what Harlem, New York is saying. Hold on a second, you guys. I got kind of confused here. Oh, 1 second. And then T.S. Blunt basically says, how could he go from just a friend to a manager, advisor, and more? No detention. Let me pin this comment. 1 second, you guys. And then Harlem, New York says, why did he go to a channel that knows nothing about the case, that won't challenge him? That's they probably gave him a check. You know what I mean? They probably gave him a check. That's a good question. Why did he go to a brand new channel to basically get this interview? There were tons of. That's a really good question, right? I'm gonna pin that question. Right? Let me pin this one. Harlem, New York. Why did he go to a brand new channel that basically knows nothing about R. Kelly's situation or hasn't been reporting on R. Kelly's situation? There were plenty of channels that he could have come on and basically told this story. Why did he go to Early and Tia? What was so special about them? That's a very, very, very good question. And GA Every Woman says all about the money, just like the rest of the scammers, right? And to me, you know what? Again, I don't know that he scammed R. Kelly or he was trying to scam R. Kelly. But, I'm going to be real with you. A lot of shit just feels suspect. A lot of it feels like some type of, it feels scammy. You know what I mean? It feels kind of scammy, right? Again, I'm not saying he scammed them, but a lot of shit just really doesn't add up and just doesn't make any sense. Guys, look, if you want to come on and voice your opinion, you're welcome to come on. I'm going to end this stream pretty soon if nobody hops on. I just have a few more things to say, and then I'm just going to open the floor for everybody else to talk, and then call it a day. I'm finna go step in a minute. Anyway, so it's like, why now? Why now? We get that you're going to prison. Are you coming out and you saying all this crazy shit about R. Kelly because you're bitter? Are you coming out and saying all this crazy shit about R. Kelly because you want some type of revenge, right? T.S. Blunt says it's just a diversion because of the appeals coming, stirring up more mess. I get it, but what's the motive behind that? You know what I mean? Why? Why would you do some shit like that now? Is the guy bitter? Is he just trying to get some revenge? Now, I remember there being some type of saga where Donrussell got a hold of some of Rkelly's music, right? Allegedly, right? I remember seeing people posting on YouTube saying that Donrussell has Rkelly's music and he won't get that shit back, so on and so forth. You guys remember that? And to me, that just kind of fits in with the story of him trying to get music to put on his platform. And I'm thinking maybe he got some of his music so that he can put on his platform. So I'm thinking that, maybe he actually did somehow commandeer Rkelly's music in hopes to put it on his platform so that he can make, truckloads of the shit. That's what I heard. I'm not, like I said, it's just rumor. I'm not saying it's true. It's just allegedly Donrussell got a hold of some of his music. Some people were saying that he stole it. I have no idea whether or not he stole it, or whether or not he had the right to access the music. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that. I from my understanding, Donrussell somehow got the music and he just wanted to keep it safe. But now that I'm hearing the interview, to me, it just seems like you got the music and you somehow wanted to put it on your channel. And again, I'm not saying that's what he was thinking. To me, that's just one of the theories that I believe that happened. Like I said, I'm not saying that he actually stole anything. It's just a theory, right? That somehow he commandeered the music with hopes to put it on his channel. And now that this interview has come out, not on this channel, but is on this platform. Now that this interview has come out, to me, it's all starting to, the missing music makes a little sense now, right? Yeah, so Sweet and Spicy said he took it to keep it safe. And that's what I heard was coming. That's what I heard that was out there. I'm fuzzy on all those details, so you guys can't quote me on that, right? But a lot of shit just didn't make sense. A lot of these accusations that he made in this interview, and I'm like, dude, why? Why the fuck would you, come out and say these things? And then his whole thing about his indictment, right? Honestly, now I actually have a video that I actually made when he was first indicted. After the stream has been up for a while, I'll try to put it at the end of this stream. But the videos, if you want to go to my YouTube channel after this, and you can search for Donrussell or just Don on my YouTube channel, you'll see a series of videos that I made. And a lot of shit that his initial response to his indictment, in my personal opinion, was just going to make his fucking situation worse. Because he was, in my personal opinion, he was using a lot of stuff from the free man movement. And that shit typically doesn't work in court. And they will just dismiss that shit. Hell, you go into court these days, if you try to represent yourself, they're going to try to fuck you. I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to keep it real. So for you to come in with the shit that Don was coming in there with, he was just gonna, dude, they was gonna bury his ass, So I was even on a couple of videos I made. I showed him examples of how people made the same claims that he was making and basically got nowhere. That shit was on the road straight to nowhere, and they got fucked, So I was like, Don, look, if you watching this video, man, you need to get a motherfucking lawyer. Because a lot of shit that you put in your replies to your indictment is just going to, get you screwed over big time, right? So with that said, a lot of stuff that he was saying about his charges and how they were resolved, a lot of that shit didn't add up to me, right? He claims that he didn't make the threat. He claims that he made calls to the to the police department and the fire department to try to get those people to stop. To me, it didn't make sense because first of all, you can't really get police to get involved in a civil matter. So now either you're really naive or you're just not telling the truth, right? So if there's a studio somewhere making a production to tarnish my name, I can't go and call the police and get them to stop. That's not how that shit works. You can only get police involved when there's criminal activity. If there's civil activity, you can't call the fucking police. You can't call the fucking fire department, right? So to me, that tells me either you're lying to us or you just have a complete misunderstanding about how shit like that works. You cannot call the fucking police and the fire department for civil matters. You just can't fucking do it. So his whole story about, what actually went down was suspect to me, right? I don't know what you guys thought, but to me, that shit just didn't make any sense, right? So, yeah, so that's it. Those are my thoughts on that whole situation. Gigi says he's a scammer. Gigi said fast talker, hoping that nobody catches his bullshit. Pretty much. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Because, like I said, you can't fucking call the fucking police for a civil matter. They're going to laugh at your ass. You can't call this fire department for a civil matter. So either you lie to me or you're lying, or you just really, really, really naive, or just don't understand how the world works. But, who the fuck is going to believe a story like that? So hell yeah, you lost your fucking case if that's the story you telling. Right? Yeah, so that's it, y'all. So look, I'm gonna go ahead and put this link out there one last time. And if you guys want to come on and basically show some love or basically talk about the situation, you're welcome. But I'm going to end this broadcast pretty soon here if nobody wants to come on and nobody wants to get down. So, like I said, I am going to try to get a hold of the appeals brief for the Eastern District of New York. I believe that's out. If it is, I'm going to try to get a hold of it. I'm going to try to break it down. And what I'm going to try to do is probably have two different versions of the appellate brief, right? Not get two different versions, but I'm going to try to create two different versions of the videos. And one version, I'm just going to try to give the highlights because I just suspect that that's what people like. Sometimes people don't like to go through those long-ass readings that I used to do and those long-ass legal analysis that I used to do when I first started this channel. When I first started this channel, I would, just devour it and everything I could on the internet. And I would try to, break it down as it pertains to Rkelly's case. That shit takes a lot of motherfucking time and effort to do, right? So I may create two versions. One version where I actually do that, get the brief. If it's 200 pages, so be it. Go through all of it and just try to break it down. And then I'm just going to try to have a highlighted version because I understand some people don't want to sit through that shit, right? So that's going to be coming. I also want to talk about Michael Irvin. And Michael Irvin got a legal situation where he is basically suing a hotel. First, I think it was Marriott, but then he somehow found out Marriott wasn't the owner of the hotel. There's something going on with that, so he had to refile a lawsuit a couple of times. But I want to talk about that before it's too late. I also want to talk about Trump's indictment. I'm way behind on that, so I'm going to do the best I can to talk about Trump. I also want to talk about Trump's prosecutor, Alvin Braggs. So, there's a lot of content to come, you guys. Lots of content to come. Sweet and Spicy says, our judicial system has us turning against each other as Black people since the beginning of time. That's, come on now. You know how this shit work. Divide and conquer. Divide and motherfucking conquer. That's one of the oldest strategies in the motherfucking book. Go in to one person and say, yo, this dude said a lot of bad shit about you. Then go to the other persons and basically say the same shit to get you two fighting. And in the meantime, I'm going to prosecute both of y'all ass. You know what I mean? So, oldest trick in the book. That's why they have strategies like good cop, bad cop. Trump 2024, baby. Sweet K say 2024. Trump 2024. You know what? Trump is a really complex character. Early on, I think he really was racist, but the motherfucker changed, right? He changed. One of my buddies says this is how racist people are. They try to pretend that they're not racist so they can keep fucking you over. But it's hard. I think there's some complex shit going on with Trump that's really hard to explain because he did a lot of shit for black people. He pardoned more black people than motherfucking Obama did, right? Free Trump. But Trump is crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Trump is crazy than a motherfucker. So it's like you don't know what to do with a motherfucker like that. That's motherfucker you want on your motherfucking team in case some shit go down. But on the same token, you're afraid what the motherfucker gonna do, right? You're afraid he gonna blow everything up, you know. So it's so yeah. I can't wait to start talking about Trump and start looking through some of his legal shit. I don't know if this motherfucker. I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen with Trump. You know, I understand. In my personal opinion, I believe that his indictment is kind of a political ploy because they don't want him to run. But on the same token, if the indictment doesn't work, man, you gonna strengthen his base. So man, he gonna be unbeatable if this fucking indictment doesn't work. You know. But anyway, we'll talk about that in another video. A video to come. It looks like nobody hopped on, so that's gonna be it. That's my time. Please like, share, and basically subscribe. And thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.